Can you believe it is the last 90 days of the year? I feel like every year we're saying, man, this year flew by quickly. Do you feel that way? If so, stick around for this video because we're going to share how to finish the last 90 days with intention. You know, this topic is kind of a hot topic right now, and a lot of different people are going to give you so many different ideas. So ours is a little controversial, a little bit different than what most people will tell you. It's against the hustle and the force and the push forward. It's, you know, we're almost there. It's really tuning into the rhythms and cycles of nature. So say hello if you are tuning in live for the Elevated Life series. I'm Brit and this is Chris Carmichael, and we are the founders of the Elevated Life, where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. I'm so excited. Yes. You know, it's just around the corner. Our wedding anniversary is coming up on 10/10, my birthday on 10/13. This is really it begins a time of celebration for us, you know, and I think these 3 tips are going to help people to set up the rest of their days with intention.
Yeah, you know, coming into the last 90 days is so important because it will set up what it is that you end up doing in the next year. And I've been seeing more people post about this on what their plan is for the last 90 days. And it was interesting because it's almost exactly the opposite of what we do. And we found this to be so successful for us. What we're finding is so many people want you to grind out more. You need to be putting more hours in. I've heard one people saying, like, you know how I grow my business faster than everybody else is because I work harder during the off months while they're taking vacation and being with their family and those kind of things. And I think people have forgotten, like, just business is not what life is about. It's not just about how much more money can I get or how can I beat my competition and things like that. We have cycles, you know, and our first tip is really to start observing the cycles of nature. We're about to, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we're about to move into a dormant period, you know, fall, then comes winter. And it's such a beautiful time. And what nature really tells us during this time is that it's totally okay to let go. Mm-hmm. And so many people want you to add more stuff on. We need to be taking on more things. You need to be working out harder. You need to take whatever you want to do at the beginning of the year, and now you need to do it right now. And that's not true. Those months where you were going to do those things have already passed. Like, you should have been working on those things then. It's this part and nature's part now where we're moving into a rest period. So I want you to be thinking about this. What right now going on in your life is not working for you? Because you notice what the trees do. Those leaves eventually die and the tree just lets them go. Even though they worked on them all year to bring those to them. They popped out in spring, here came the summer, and then now it's fall. We're gonna start to let go of those things. So don't look at just what can I add in? What can I grind out harder? What can I do more of? Start thinking about what can I take away to add more into my life.
Oh my gosh, I'm just dying over here. All these beautiful comments right now. Thank you so much. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, this is really, we're moving into Thanksgiving season after Halloween. And, you know, that's a time that we remember to be grateful. But really, if you learn to tap into the power of gratitude, you can begin to uplift your energy. Whoa, here comes all the comments on Facebook.
What's
they just
up,
popped in.
People?
It's a celebration. So exciting. Let me just take a minute before we move on to the second tip on how you can set, you know, the last 90 days up with intention for your life. Hey, Joni. Hey, Brooke. Oh my gosh. Hey, Miss P. Someone says, you guys are my therapy. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Congratulations. Your wedding anniversary. You should share how you met. Okay. Stick around till the end of this video and we will share the crazy story on how we met. It was insane. We're in the spring here, but already feel the slowdown for 2019. Yeah, yes. Exactly. So different hemispheres, you guys can apply the different cycles of nature. You know, in the spring, it's about cleaning out and clearing and preparing for planting all those seeds that you'll then harvest in the fall and in the autumn. And that's where we're at in the Northern Hemispheres. All the seeds that you've planted this year, all of the ideas, all the action steps, all the things that you let go of are planting seeds for you to start harvesting now. You are probably seeing that all that hard work is starting to pay off and things are starting to come back to you. So really open up to receive. Not only is it about giving thanks, but it's also opening up to receive all that goodness that we can be thankful for.
Ooh, that's such a hard part for people. A lot of people are so good at trying really hard, about putting in so much effort, but then when the time comes to reap all that reward, it's like they forget. It's like, oh, it's supposed to be like work, work, rest, work, work, rest. It's not just work, 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 and die. I mean, we have to have a space where we start to realize, like, we need to start relaxing. Our second tip for you guys is, instead of prioritizing action, You need to prioritize rest. You got to get into a space where you're taking care of yourself. I know no one wants to, like, no one gets that part. Like
whoa, dude.
The dog is loving us right now. So you've got to get into a space where you say, I've worked hard. I've done things. I need to slow down a bit and start to like look inside and say, what are my real needs? Not just what are the needs that the world's demanded on me, or maybe my family or my kids or whatever. What do I need? Is it time for me now? Because this is your time. Let the fall, or if it's spring where you are, let that be your time. Get rid of those things that aren't serving you and start to really just rest into it. One of the things that I'm going to be doing for sure, this is nap season. I mean, I'm going to be taking naps and baths on a regular basis, just long periods of by myself in silence. If you've got a nature spot, go there, enjoy the beauty of nature, but just get alone for a little bit and just let your body rest. Just be. Stop always trying to be in the action mode and just let yourself just totally relax.
Yeah, Anne says the fall is her like homebody season.
Yes.
Because the summer is a social season. You're going out, there's so much light available, so you're spending more time out until like 9 p.m. Well, we're noticing that the sun is already going down by like 7:30 here in Texas, and so we're like, we're done. It's time for bed. We've been going to bed earlier, which, you know, it's only because we're following the rhythms of nature. And when there's no more sunlight out, it's time to slow down. It's time to rest and pay attention. The reflection of nature, and she's doing it perfectly, been doing it perfectly for billions of years until we came along and started fucking things up and clearing the Amazon. I mean, we're really screwing up this planet, by the way. But she has it, she's got it down. So why don't we adopt the cycles and the rhythms of nature? And she even has a dormant period. She's the ultimate creator. I mean, we like, hello, here we are. So why not pay attention to the source and what she's doing? And she slows down, she lets go, and she resists the things that no longer work. She lets them go. And so Julia says she's letting go of procrastination.
Yes.
That's a huge one. You know, if you're on my email list, today I sent out a video about how procrastination and perfectionism get in the way and cause indecision. So we just stay stuck. And so if you're not on my email list, then you can go to brittanycarmichael.com/join so that you get all the goodies from me, because I share so much more with the people that sign up for my newsletter than we do here on social media, because unfortunately the social media world doesn't, you know, share the video. You know, algorithm problems. So I love being able to share through email, so it's nice and personal. Yeah.
One of the other things that we also prioritize in this season is meditation. So many people go into the holiday season and it's a rough time for them. You know, we've lost loved ones or, you know, friends, and a lot of times it brings up a lot of crappy emotions. Also, because the sun's going down, we don't get all of that vitamin D that our body and our happiness really need. And so make sure you're hitting up that vitamin D supplement if that's right for you, and make sure you're
a new drug.
Seriously, I mean, the amount of depression that can be fought through just taking one supplement through vitamin D is absolutely incredible. That we know so many people who live up north where they don't get nearly as much sun as we do down here in Texas. Vitamin D is so important. And so prioritize that, but also on the meditation game, you need to get in touch with your inner feelings. Make sure that you're no longer running from them. So often the reason why things repeat in the winter seasons is because we're not outside as much. So we have more time alone in our own head. And instead of resisting that, and instead of running away saying, that's not me, I'm going to ignore that, go deeper into it. Notice where those feelings come from. Notice how you feel. Honor that. And when you accept it and when you honor it and say, yes, this is how I feel, I am going through some stuff right now, you notice that you're able to transcend that. You go, okay, I don't have to stay stuck. I don't have to stay in this. I can feel it. I can honor it. I can be there. But then I can also decide to just go ahead and let that go. Don't stay in that same world for forever and constantly repeat that loop. Get into the meditation practice. Let yourself get inside your thoughts. Clear out the negative ones that you have and just watch them. Just be the observer for a little while and notice where you actually are. It will make such a big difference when you go into next year, because you're not facing the exact same problems. As you learn to meditate and stuff like that, you become a different person because you're no longer that same one that you were when you started the practice. You start to realize these are just thoughts. I don't have to listen to them. I don't have to act on them. I can pick and choose what it is that I want to do.
Yeah, and if you're someone who struggles with meditation and you're saying to yourself, I really want to start a practice, but I really don't know where to begin, then I highly recommend you join us inside the Elevated Life Membership Club, because we have a whole masterclass on how to meditate. And not only do we have a masterclass that dives totally deep into the brainwave states and all the different things to understand meditation and why we do it. So many people just think meditation is like sitting there like, but there's so much more going on below the surface, and we uncover all of that inside the masterclass. In addition to that, every single month inside the Elevated Life Membership Club, we share a yoga and meditation practice for you to practice throughout the entire month. It's a different technique every single time, because we know that there are so many different roads that lead to Rome. What I mean by that is there are different strokes for different folks. Like Chris might like a sitting meditation, and I prefer a dynamic meditation. And if you're saying, well, what's the difference? Then you should definitely join the Elevated Life so that we can educate you on how you can meditate, because ultimately it boils down to the fact that meditation has been the single most powerful tool that we've used to reclaim our power, to heal our trauma, to enlighten ourselves and tap into our spirit guides, and all the cool shit that we're offering you guys is because we started with meditation. So if you're someone who struggles with that, highly recommend you come join us, because we love to support you. And this month's topic, so meditation you can access as a past masterclass, but this month we're teaching on creativity. So if you want to get into the flow and those creative states where you're just like a channel for all this cool shit to come through, then you definitely want to join us for this month's masterclass. All right, Joni says,
gosh, I love all the love.
I know, thank you for all the hearts.
It's
so nice to see you guys supporting and loving all the things that we share for you. We've been doing this for almost 4 years.
Oh my gosh, time flies.
I know. Time really does fly. Joni says she always feels trapped in her house during the winter. You know, I can totally relate to that, especially people that live up north who are literally trapped by the snow. But a lot of the times I feel like that's a psychological trap, because there's so many cool things that we can do within our home space. Of course, yeah, and Joni's the ultimate crafter. By the way, Joni, I really think that your Greta Thunberg or however you say her last name, cross-stitched little thing could go viral. You need to like post some pictures of it. It's incredible. Anyway, go on.
Yes. Okay. So the third thing we'll leave with you guys
Julia.
is now that you have time for rest, now that you're more at home, more indoors, doing those kind of things, the biggest step that we want to is to start planning. Because we hardly ever just take a break and plan, you know, to really plan through all the details of the things that we want, the things we really don't want in our lives, what we want to be doing in the future, what we want for next year. Because we don't stop and figure those desires out, they don't come to us. And we wonder, oh, how come I didn't get that? Well, it's because you made no plan. It's because you may have kind of known where you want to get to, but there's no actual steps. And so if you'll sit down and spend the time and then come back to it just once a week for 15 minutes, if you can just carve out 15 minutes and just ask yourself, what do I want? What am I really serious and what can I commit to? Not just what do I want, but I don't want to do the work for. What do I want that I'm willing to put in the time, put in the effort, the research, the knowledge, the money, all the things that it takes to really do something? Yeah. What do I really want to do? And when you have that kind of clarity, it's so much easier to act on it, because you know, and you've told your mind, you've made it perfectly clear that this is what I want, this is what I want to do. But if you don't give yourself that space, and if you just continuously run off blindly, like just blasting a shotgun at the wall, hoping you hit something, like, it just doesn't work that way. You know, you want to be super clear, almost like a sniper type deal, where it's just one shot.
What's with all the guns?
You know, who knows? It's one of those things.
We live in Texas, you know.
Guns up.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So what are you planning for 2020? What is that big dream that you have? You know, start to begin to like visualize and dream it up. You don't need to know the full plan. Just start using your creative imagination. And that's really where the meditation part comes in, is if you get into that meditative trance state and you start visualizing the things that you want. This is something I teach in Shine School. You start visualizing those dreams and those ideas that you want to create in your life. They begin to start forming clarity and action steps and puzzle pieces for you to follow, right? It's not about just dreaming it up and then hoping it shows up. Action is required on the other side of those dreams if you want to turn them into reality. So what can you do right now to start getting clear on, like, where do I see myself in 2020? In 2019, what was my goal? Did I achieve it? Did I actually take the action towards it? What wasn't working for me? That was the first thing we asked you guys to pay attention to for the last 90 days. Start figuring out what didn't work this year, so that way you can make a new game plan for next year. year. So 2020, I want to go on an oracle tour and take my goddess gatherings on the road, hit up all these major cities across the world, and share my empowerment and the experience of what it's like to join a goddess gathering and let go and tap into all of the vulnerable spaces that we hide from the world. Because when I see women open up and pour their hearts and let go of the pain and the self-doubt, I mean, that's really the biggest one. All the goddess gathering, all of them, they're all meant to help you strip away all the fear and the self-doubt. And when women walk out of those doors after they burned away all the bullshit, they are a different person. And I want to see that happen all across the globe. And so my big dream, my big vision is to take that experience and share it worldwide and pair that with my oracle deck. I've worked so damn hard on bringing this oracle deck into the world, and it's all about self-love, self-empowerment, and taking care of yourself and really trusting and believing that those wild intuitive dreams that you have are meant for you, and they're meant to be, realized, but you have to take the action. And if we doubt ourselves, we don't take the action.
Yeah, Britt touched on something really important, and she kind of showed you what she's doing. So if she goes on an oracle tour next year, right? But we have plenty of time before next year actually ends up happening. And so what she's going to end up doing between now and when it actually starts is she's going to start picturing in her mind. She's going to make perfect pictures in her mind. Everyone says they want to manifest stuff, right? Oh, just teach us about manifesting. Teach how do you manifest?
I do have a manifesting masterclass if you're interested.
It's true, but think about this. What does manifest mean? Manifest means to make clear and obvious to the mind. And the way that you do that is to use your imagination. And you imagine it and picture it so many times until it becomes habit, so that when you actually do it, when you show up on that day, you say, and when Britt shows up and says, I'm actually doing the oracle tour, she shows up to that first place and people are there. She's already practiced. She's already thought it through. It's already happened so many times inside her mind that it's obvious as to what to do. She doesn't need to guess. She doesn't need to ask for extra help. She's already been through all of those things already by herself. So in these last 90 days of the year, start getting that imagination muscle working.
Oh my gosh, my retreat next year, like my brain is exploding with so many beautiful visions of all the things that I've been working so hard. All of these ideas that are coming to fruition in my own personal life were visualizations and ideas that I had many years ago. I didn't just dream it up yesterday, right? It takes work, it takes action. So what are you willing to commit to in 2020 and see all the way through so that you can actually say, you know what, I have this vision and I put effort and heart and sweat and blood and tears and cuss words and anger and frustration and doubt and all the things. I poured all that into it, and I'm so proud of myself for actually sticking with it. So what is that thing that you really want to stick with and see all the way to the end? Because it is so rewarding and so fulfilling. But it only happens if you go after what you're so freaking passionate about, because you will burn out and you will give up before you get to the end goal, because it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, that's especially true if you try the let's run hard method. We are not, as human beings, built to sprint. We're not. And everyone tries to use that method. They say, well, I didn't work out all year long, so the last 90 days of the year,
I'm going to do crunches.
I'm going to work out as hard as possible. I'm going to put on my gym clothes. I'm going to go in the gym and literally kill myself. You'll never look forward to a workout. It will never happen. You'll go on day one, you'll be sore for the next 4 or 5 days and hate your life, and end up showing up and hate it. And like, that's not a good way to transition. The way to really make it work is to slow, methodical steps over time. And so if you have a big dream and it's going to take you a long time to accomplish, or if you want to lose X amount of weight and it's a lot of pounds, or whatever it is for you, it doesn't really matter. Slow, steady paces. Don't spend so much time trying to go balls out just the first week. It won't work that way. Just slowly ramp up. And after you've ramped up, slowly come back down. It's not ramp up and then ramp up more and then go up more. It's you let it just come up and let it come down. Imagine like your life is waves, right? So you're going to have this peak come up, it's going to break, you're going to come back down, and you're just continuously doing this. And so you never hit a super high note and you never hit a super low note.
Yeah, if you flatline, you're dead, honey. So you have to ride the waves of life and know that when you're up, enjoy it. When you're down, know that it is temporary, okay? So just keep flowing. I'm loving this. Someone says, discovered you on the Wayfinder podcast, and
cool.
Just wow.
Yes.
Oh, freaking Adam. You know what, Adam, if you found us on the Wayfinder podcast, and you know Adam and I have known each other since birth, like he's known me my entire existence. And talking about long-term vision, who would have known that us playing Nintendo 64 Mario Kart when I was a kid would lead us back to this full circle moment where we've both like hit this enlightenment and like, oh my God, we're here to make a difference in the world. We have to, you know, speak out. And he's got his Wayfinder podcast, and we have the Elevated Life.
Beautiful
like,
guy.
oh, it's so amazing. So cool how we're all connected. Miss Stacy says, hey, both. Shout out for my bro, Jason. He has a dream and needs guidance to go for it.
Go for it, brother.
Go for it, Jason. You have got this, man. And Stacy, did you color your hair? Because I am liking this new fall do, sister. Okay. Any questions that you have for us? I know you were asking about how we met since our anniversary is coming up. So our wedding was on 10/10/10, and it's the same date as my parents' wedding, which is really cool. We originally planned to get married on Halloween, and it was going to be a big costume party.
We do it different, yeah.
And then we decided, you know what, 10/10/10 sounds like really magical. It ended up being my parents' anniversary as well. And now looking back, we weren't like woke AF then, so I didn't realize it was an angel number, and 10s represent the end of a cycle. So it was really a massive ending for the pain that we had carried in relationships. And it was the first time where I think Chris and I really committed and were like, this is love. This is going to happen. This is going to work. And yay, thank you for loving me. But how we met, MySpace. We met on MySpace. How many of you remember what the heck MySpace is?
It's not even a thing.
13 years ago, he sent me a friend request, and I was such a sarcastic ass that I messaged him back and said, if you're going to add me, at least say something intriguing. And this guy wrote back with a long poem about finding life's elixir. And I now know, especially like past lives, we've done so many regressions together. Oh, speaking of, can I tell him?
Nah.
Ah, Chris has a surprise for you, but I guess we'll tell you next week. Okay.
You can wait for that.
Okay, so we've done all these regressions, and now I look back and realize like that word elixir was the code word that we must have set up before this lifetime to know that when we connected, like he's the one. Because when I finished reading that MySpace message about finding life's elixir, I just said, he's the one. And I wrote back with just my phone number. Still have the same phone number too. Isn't that crazy?
It's true.
Wrote back with just my phone number, and he eventually called. First day I hung up on him. He said he was going on a date with someone else. I'm like, why are you talking to me? I mean, it was crazy, right? But
real wild. Here's
the thing. We both knew from day one. I don't know. Did you know? You knew, but you were just being a shit.
Yeah. Young, crazy.
I proposed to Chris twice, and the first time he said no, the second time he said maybe, and then third time was the charm because he asked me. So it was very rough in the beginning, because when you find that soulmate, when you find your twin flame and your partner, you are going to be a reflection of each other, and you're not going to reflect just the good stuff. You're going to reflect the pain and the anger and all the baggage that comes with it. And so because of that, it was really hard for us in the beginning. We were really young too. I was 20 when I met Chris, and so we were struggling to understand who we are as a person. That's a huge part in having a loving, intimate relationship, is showing up complete. To have a holistic relationship, you need to be whole. And so trying to figure out, who am I? What do I believe in? What do I stand for? And we've been able over the last 13 years to kind of figure that out together. So many people may not have found their partner at a young age, and so they've had the opportunity to explore and discover. And I'm just so grateful that we've been able to go through all of this together, like the awakening, the like healing the pain and the trauma of the past, like crazy. MySpace.
Yeah, it was a total suck for a long time. But, having that feeling of like, there's a feeling that you get, it's like, we can make this happen. Like, we could really make this happen. And
is that Jason? Jason, we hear you have a dream, sir, and this is your permission to say, fuck it, and go for it.
Kick ass, man.
You can do it for sure. Stacy says she did do her hair. Looking good, girl. I love it. I haven't found it. You know what? Then that just means that you have the opportunity to continue to explore who you are, what lights you up, and to build up yourself, because that ultimately is the most fulfilling work and experience you're ever going to have. You can get married and you can find your partner, but you will never be 100% fulfilled by someone else. It is called self-love, self-worth, self-care, because he can't do it for me. and they can't do it for you. Only you can take that responsibility and give yourself the love that you think you need from someone else.
Yeah, the big deal that we did that I think is not very common is that we'd given up. So it was a give up phase for both of us. I wasn't interested in being in a relationship, and Britt wasn't interested in being in a relationship. And we both said, nah, we're just gonna kind of focus on us for now. We're gonna focus on our careers and build that up, and just kind of lay low and, you know, just do some personal development type things and just kind of stick to that for a while. And in that moment of that decision of, this is not what I want anymore, what I've been doing isn't working for me, I want something new. We found each other immediately. I mean, it was immediate.
It was this surrender. Every time I've ever surrendered in my life, things shift immediately. When I surrendered my business, or the fact that I'm supposed to be like a psychic spiritual teacher, I'm like, okay, fine, I surrender. I will take that role on. Things began to shift, and the same thing happened. I had dated hundreds of boys. I have no shame in that. I knew my man was here. I dated 4 Chris's in a row. Like, are you kidding me? Like, when he told me his name was Chris, I was like, if he's not the one, I quit. I'm done with this. But I had made that decision before he even showed up, because I was like, I'm done with boys. I can't focus my attention on them anymore. It's not fulfilling me. I'm gonna fulfill my dream of being a hairdresser. I signed up for beauty school. I asked my parents to pay for it. They said no. I literally worked like a $6.50 job at an hour. Like, I didn't have the money to pay for it, but I signed up anyway. And 3 months later, when I really needed a new idea on how to create more income for my business to pay for beauty school, he showed up with all the business ideas that I needed in that moment. And I started offering hair extensions. And because of that one idea he showed up with, I was able to generate over $10,000 while in beauty school. That's like unheard of. And because it was all tips, by the way, just tips. Because, you know, licensing, all that. Anyway, I generated all of this income, and that allowed me to pay for beauty school and to go into my own salon. I created OMG Hairstyles. I didn't work for anyone else. I was able to afford to create my own business right out of beauty school. And it was all because I finally made that decision to stop focusing on boys, to stop trying to find the love of my life, and really like get clear on what I knew I wanted to do, and that was become a hairdresser. And when I made that decision for me, everything else unfolded, and I got the man and I got the job.
Yeah, it's interesting how surrender can be so powerful. A lot of us don't want to be vulnerable enough to do that. And we think that if we read enough books and if we go to enough seminars and if we do enough things, that everything will line up. But the truth is, sometimes the most amazing things happen when we just let go of all of our ideas of what life should be, of what we should be, of what things are about, of what to make out of all the things that are happening in our lives. And surrender is such a huge key. And hopefully, if you've taken anything away from this, use this fall time, use this winter time as a time of surrender. Just allow yourself to let go, even for just a little bit, even for just a day, even for just a week. Let yourself go and experience what that's like. Let go of all the ideas of what you should be, and just see if you can sit with that just for a minute and see how that feels inside you, and notice what ends up happening in your life. It takes on a different change, and it's not one that I could have predicted. I mean, it would have been the greatest I could have hoped for, but it's not what I could have predicted. I could not have planned any of this. We do say, you know, plan, do all those things. There's a certain aspect of surrender that makes it all come together. And until you have that surrender phase, almost until you've gone through so much suffering, you realize that I just can't do anymore. This just sucks. I have to surrender. You come to that space, transformation is so possible.
Oh my gosh, what a fun topic. And thank you so much for asking how we met. I love being able to share like the truth of our relationship. Like, it wasn't easy in the beginning, and that's why we are so passionate about sharing the wisdom and the techniques and all of the knowledge that we've acquired, not only in our own personal development and like practicing how to have a loving and healthy relationship. There hasn't been, in 13 years, there hasn't been one day, one 24-hour full period that we haven't been together in 13 years. We work together, we live together. He drives me to work when I work in the salon. Like, our desks are next to each other in the office. Like, we have found a way, because when I hear people say like, I don't like my partner, I have to go home and he's there, like, what? Like, that's who you chose, you know? So we are just so passionate about helping people to create oh my gosh, all of our alarms are going off, to create that kind of intimacy, connection, and did I say connection?
Yeah.
Yeah, that. And intimacy and connection together. Oh my gosh, so much fun. I'm learning this surrender thing, not one of my strong qualities, but I am a work in progress.
Yeah, we don't
practice.
Yeah, you gotta practice it. You just start practicing it, and one of the easiest ways to do it is to find yourself in a situation that you don't love. Just let it go. Someone pisses you off on the road, someone says something, let it go. And the more often you can surrender and allow life to sort of take you on the river, the current that you're already on. You know, so many of us try to paddle upstream and realize we don't get anywhere. Just lift those feet up, let it carry you. And it's beautiful. Life can be so beautiful and such a miracle, but it can't be if we're always trying so hard all the time.
Yes. Oh my gosh. If you want to get into the state of flow, then join us inside the Elevated Life Membership Club this month, where we'll be covering how to unlock your creativity so that you can let go of the self-doubt that holds you back from expressing your inner artist. You've helped me a lot today from my heart. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. If you loved this episode of the Elevated Life, please tag someone below, share the video, whatever you've got to do to spread the good vibes and the good karma. We appreciate you tuning in every Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And like I said, if you need that extra support, you want to learn how to meditate, you need some coaching, accountability, you want to surround yourself with like elevators, you know, people who are on the path to like living their best self and their best life, then join us inside the Elevated Life Membership Club by going to BrittanyCarmichael.com/membership. And we are on the other side waiting to support you to live your best life. Finish strong. Finish this last 90 days of the year with intention and with flow and with grace.
Oof. Love you guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.